Hello guys and welcome back to the F1 Tube YouTube channel. Now, after a controversial incident at the recent Canadian Grand Prix, fans have asked the question whether there is a conspiracy between the FIA and the Mercedes F1 team. This was after a controversial penalty was awarded to Seb Vettel, which lost him the win of the Canadian Grand Prix on Sunday. So in today's video I'm going to justify my reasons why this claim is absolute trash. But quickly, I want to re-justify my opinions on the Vettel Hamilton incident. Quickly, I believe the FIA have to withstand a lot of stick from us F1 fans, and they are just trying to do their job at the end of the day. And secondly, as an F1 community, we definitely overreacted at the Vettel Hamilton incident, and considering I had time to compose myself after the incident for my race review, I will happily put my hands up, as I was one of the main culprits. Something I didn't acknowledge in my race review was that by the letter of the law, Sebastian Vettel totally deserved his 5-second time penalty. He went off the track, came back onto the track in a dangerous manner, and Lewis Hamilton had to stamp on the brakes to avoid an accident. And again, Hamilton, it isn't his job to avoid an accident, it is completely Seb's making. And since my race review, this image right on your screens looks very suspicious. It seems like Vettel is looking at Hamilton's car and he's looking where to place his car to stay ahead. So in some ways that is naughty driving from Seb, and it is dangerous driving in the essence that he's blocked Hamilton once coming back onto the track. So through the points I've just made, Vettel does deserve his penalty. But it's how the stewards deal with this. Now, throughout the weekend, and for the past few years actually, the stewards have put bollards, not just at Canada, but at different racing tracks, at chicanes for drivers who go off that need to rejoin. And that chicane turn 3 and turn 4 at Canada did not have the bollards. Yes, I know the track complexity is a bit difficult for the FIA to manage, but they need to be consistent through chicanes. Vettel could rejoin the track anywhere. There was no bollard to signal where he could rejoin, so I think the FIA screwed themselves on that point. And as a racer, you struggle to find grip coming back onto the track from grass to tarmac, and Vettel wasn't even going at serious speeds through that grass, yet he still lost grip. So I think from that context as well, the penalty was harsh. But I did say this on my race review, that this penalty wasn't so controversial. It wasn't like Hamilton's penalty at Spa 2008, which to me was a heinous decision. But what the FIA have now done is that they've set a precedent, and consistency is one thing that the FIA struggle with. So I think the FIA have drowned themselves in a very deep place. So in a nutshell, the penalty in some ways was fair and in others wasn't fair. But the FIA definitely did screw themselves over. But one thing I am totally and utterly against is what people try and reach out on social media, that the Mercedes F1 team and the FIA have some kind of conspiracy hand in hand. And it is really starting to wind me up now. And here is why these comments are absolute trash and have no logic. Firstly, Baku 2017, where Vettel displayed himself in such a despicable manner. At the end of a safety car period, Hamilton then becomes the safety car as he was the race leader. He backs up the pack, Vettel hits the rear of him, thinking he's brake tested him, and then swerves into the side of him, and the two make contact again. Now, I did say in a previous video that racing drivers are there to express themselves, but not like that. It was unbelievably petulant, and whether you like it or not, he put both cars at risk of not finishing the race. He could have damaged Hamilton's car severely and his own. And as much as it is at like 40, 50, 60 kilometers an hour, as opposed to 240 kilometers an hour, the intent was he knocked into the side of Hamilton and put both drivers at risk of finishing the race. The FIA revealed that Hamilton did not brake test Vettel, so Hamilton is blameless, and Vettel's actions were absolutely despicable and were not warranted. And for such pathetic driving like that, he should have been black flagged. And the fact he was only given a 10-second stop and go penalty shows that the FIA were way too lenient on Seb. One could argue that the stewards were way too lenient on Seb. It's at Singapore 2017, where he unnecessarily cut across Raikkonen and Verstappen, and the three were soon out of the race. Yes, Vettel couldn't see Kimi, but by his own admission, he had an average start, so he was not calculated enough to work out that a fast starting Kimi could get past him. So again, the stewards may have been a bit lenient on Seb and did not punish him, so how can we say that there's a Mercedes-FIA conspiracy? Plus Vettel tapping Bottas at France last year, locking up, basically ruining Bottas's race, giving him a puncture, some massive damage on the rear of his car, yet Vettel only got a 5-second time penalty. Yes, Kimi got a harsher one 2 races later at the British Grand Prix after touching with Hamilton, but the Mercedes drivers don't benefit from the Ferrari drivers getting a penalty when their cars are damaged and at the rear of the field. And finally, the Brazilian Grand Prix last year in qualifying, where Vettel broke the weighbridge. And with how reckless it could have been, he could have injured one of those FIA stewards, or I don't know who they are. But that's the moral of the story. He did put people at danger and he was rushing it. Now, yes, Hamilton almost caused a massive crash that day with Sirotkin, but if there is a Mercedes-FIA conspiracy, they would have given Vettel a penalty and Hamilton wouldn't have been taken into investigation. End of. Both drivers really should have received grid penalties. Now, I said it earlier in the video and I said it in my race review, the Spa 2008 instance involving Hamilton and Raikkonen, with Hamilton cutting across the chicane after really being cutting off by Raikkonen. Hamilton gives back the position to Raikkonen but then reclaims the lead into turn 1 with a fantastic move. Hamilton gets something like a 20-second time penalty. I mean, 5 seconds is harsh enough. And it's these decisions, when you link them, just feel like the FIA are taken away from what we love about Formula 1. Close racing at the front. Yes, I know this was 11 years ago, but it's still relatively recent in Formula 1. But quickly going back to the Mercedes-FIA conspiracy, the points I've just shown are absolute trash, and even this point because Mercedes were supplying McLaren engines, so I don't know what people are really thinking, and it winds me up so much when they're trying to birth these conspiracies. These are absolute trash claims. But guys, that is it for today's video. Please like this video, comment down below what you thought of this video, and please subscribe to the F1 Tube YouTube channel for more content like this. But guys, until next time, see you later.